Hi, my name is Ted, and this channel is all about AI and ethics. Yet today's video seems to have nothing to do with ethics. I will agree that it doesn't seem to have anything to do with ethics, and if it does, comment below and let me know if you see something. Either way though, whether it does or doesn't, today's video has everything to do with AI. Because from ancient times, people have imagined the contraptions that AI have been able to produce only in the last few years. This video is about one of the earliest writings of such imaginations of AI. The Grecian poet Homer wrote about the Greek gods who created robots and self-driving ships, which are not much more than what we are witnessing today with modern technology. What was creative storytelling 3,000 years ago is now a reality. So here is the entire story. Hi, this is Ted. Today I'm going to be talking about automata. First of all, what are automata? Automata are mechanisms that are self-operating. Ancient stories of automata exist from about 2,700 years ago when the legendary philosopher Homer was writing about different forms of it, used by the gods in mythological stories. The Iliad and the Odyssey. No one really knows for sure if he was the author, but tradition calls it his work. And the reason I'm going to be bringing this up, the reason I'm talking about automata is because automata are kind of the precursors to AI. They're the ideas of AI, because a lot of what he thinks of in his own writings 2,700 years ago are things that we're just now seeing in this last few years and now being developed. So we'll talk about automata in his writings. And this is going to be a two-part video. I'm going to have a video one, I'll talk about Homer's automata in the Iliad and the Odyssey. And then I'm going to see if I can find in the next video, if I can find the same or similar within the Bible. In the Iliad, Hephaestus is described as a god who worked in a workshop with an anvil and 20 bellows. From his work, the gods received many works in metal, and they were all imbued with power. At least a lot of them were. These included a hat and sandals with wings so they could fly around, chariots, bows and arrows, staffs, girdles, and a lot of other items they all got from him. The gods did, that is. And among the many items made in the bellows of Hephaestus were automata. And I'm going to talk about two of his works and another mentioned in Homer's writings, but may not be created by Hephaestus. And the first one being robot-like tripods. In the Iliad, Hephaestus is described as the god of the artisans, blacksmiths, carpenters, craftsmen, fire, metallurgy, metalworking, sculpture, and volcanoes. And he's a busy guy. He's also the forger of automata. He forged automata such as tripods with golden wheels that would leave his house on their own, went to serve the gods, and then returned to his house. Before I read the passage, however, I really would like to explain what's going on here in the passage. The sea goddess Thetis is coming to Hephaestus to get new armor and shield for her son Achilles. The passage will describe Hephaestus as being a very busy man, a very busy god, a competent forger who was lame from his birth or crippled after being thrown off Olympus as a young child. The gods are kind of mean sometimes. In the following passage, Thetis is described as silver-footed. Silver-footed in the Greek literature is often used as an expression for beauty, divine status, or special qualities. So here's the passage from the Iliad, Book 18. As they spoke, silver-footed Thetis reached Hephaestus' house of imperishable bronze, adorned with stars and the finest among those of the immortals. Built by the lame god himself, Thetis found him running back and forth to his bellows, sweating with toil, as he fashioned 20 triple-legged tables to stand round the walls of his great hall. He had fitted their legs with golden wheels, so they might take themselves to the gods' assembly if he wished, and roll home again, a wondrous sight. Now, I recently was at a restaurant in Madison, Wisconsin, where there were robot servers running around while moving around on wheels in the dining area with food trays. And I thought about Homer's moving tripods. All right, the second form of automata were basically robots with possible artificial sentience. What is sentience? Good question. Sentience is being self-aware. We assume other human beings have self-awareness. But do computers? There are some who believe that computers have self-awareness and have sentience. In the world of AI, there's a big discussion whether machines will ever have sentience. Will they ever be self-aware? Now, I could ask the same question about Homer's Iliad when we see two golden women who were crafted by Hephaestus. The women possess characteristics like movement, perception, speech, and they help him move around. So here's the passage from Iliad, Book 18. Grasping a thick staff, he limped from the forge, supported by servants made of gold, fashioned like living girls who attended swiftly on their master. As well as the use of their limbs, they had intellect. And the immortals gave them skill in subtle crafts. In this account, girls were lifelike in that they had cognitive flexibility, intelligence, and creativity. So what do you think? Do they have sentience? Or are they only machine-like robots? And what do you think of AI? Do you think it will ever give machines sentience? Now, automata in the Odyssey. Now, this is an event that I'm not sure if Hephaestus was the person who made, or the god who made them. Nevertheless, we're going to talk about driverless ships. In the Odyssey, Homer describes ships that traveled the seas without helmsmen or rudders. These ships not only knew where to go, but they also avoided obstacles such as rocks without human deities' instructions. Could we compare this to the driverless cars? At this point, we cannot trust a driverless car to navigate busy streets in New York City without help from a human, but today's builders are confident that we're not far from that, and that in time, they might be every bit as good as the self-directed ships in the Odyssey. Well, in this passage from the Odyssey, Homer writes of a mythological island called Phaeacia. Odyssey, Book 8. Phaeacians have no pilots, no steering oar, like other boats, for their ships on their own can read men's hearts and thoughts. They know all men's cities, their rich estates as well, and quickly skim across the wide tracts of sea, concealed in the mist and clouds, without a fear of shipwrecks or disaster. Now, in this passage, I see two forms of modern AI reflected. First, we have driverless ships. And secondly, we have ships that follow the thoughts of people who direct them. Driverless ships are easily compared to driverless cars. But we are nowhere near being able to direct vehicles with our thoughts. Or are we? Well, today we got several companies that are in the early stages of brain-computer interfaces. BCIs. In particular, I'll choose one of them. Elon Musk's company, Neuralink, attaches connections from clumps of neurons in a person's brain, giving the brain the ability to send Bluetooth signals to a computer. And to the best of my knowledge, the results are not much to speak about right now. It's been a little while since I've read articles on this, but Elon is convinced that he is making tremendous progress. I don't know if he's just talking big or if he really is. Are we going to be able to accomplish this amazing task in the near future? Who knows? We'll find out. So here's my conclusion. There are a lot of other automata in the Iliad and the Odyssey, but I'm going to focus on these three because it's enough to show you that automata existed in the world of the imaginations of the ancients, dating back to the days of Homer. Automata existed already in the creative minds of those who wrote myths of the gods and the world in which they existed. Modern technology in the 21st century has given us the ability to produce what was only imaginable thousands of years ago. And in my next post, I'm going to see if I can find automata in the Bible. I'll leave your comments below. Like and subscribe. This is Ted. Have a good one.